Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by Bell Tire. Today at Comerica Park, we get our first look at the reigning Cy Young Award winner. Max Scherzer gets set for his first start of the season on a cool, crisp afternoon here in the Motor City. Welcome to Comerica Game 2, featuring the Royals and your Detroit Tigers. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pemba, Ron Allen. We are glad to have you with us here today. If you are a fan of parties, then you had to be here on Monday, and it was a big party here at the ballpark.
Nothing like it, Mario. When you get a chance to play in front of 45,000 people, as the players did just a couple of days ago, and then you pull the game out in that kind of fashion, it's a special day. Everybody went home happy.
We anticipate this will be a special day as well. Max Scherzer gets the call, and boy, we know what he did last year. Can he follow that up this year? There's a good chance.
You know, he really has taken that next step. He's a bona fide superstar as far as pitchers are concerned right now, and many hitters across the league, American League and National League, they will tell you Max's stuff is just as good as anybody's in baseball. Fastball, explosive, all the way up to 99. He's got a curve, he's got a slider, he's got a changeup. 21-3 last year. But take a look at that bottom note. 31-5 since June 28th of 2012. Arguably the best pitcher in all of baseball in that span. I'm looking forward to Max going out there once again this afternoon.
All right, now one of the guys he's going to have to deal with today is really a good young player in the American League. Salvador Perez had a 4-hit game on Monday. How does Max go about getting this guy out?
Well, he's legit. There's no debate about that. He's not afraid of Max. He's not afraid of Justin Verlander. His number is 389 against Max with 2 home runs. But take a look at these fastballs thrown just a couple of days ago. Right around the belt buckle. Max is going to have to get that fastball up a little bit higher against Salvador Perez if he's going to have any success whatsoever. He can hit everything. He's got some bat range. He's got some talent. He can hit breaking balls, but you have to climb the ladder. You have to get him to chase those fastballs, and then you got to go back downstairs with some soft breaking balls if you're going to get Perez out today.
All right, after a short break, we'll send you back to the Call Sam Studios and Justin White. But coming up today, we're looking for another hero. On Monday, the hero was Alex Gonzalez with the game winner. Stay with us. Game 2 in the series coming up next. Here in the Motor City, the Tigers and Royals going at it. We'll check out the starting lineup for the Kansas City Royals, presented by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. It'll be Aoki, Infante, and Hosmer at the top for KC. Butler batting cleanup, and Gordon and Perez, who had a big day opening day. Moustakas, Kane, and Alcides Escobar rounding it out for Kansas City. It is sunny at least today. Temperature in the upper 40s this afternoon for Game 2 of the 2014 campaign. Nori Aoki leads it off. And here's the first pitch of the ball game from Max Scherzer. It is outside 1-0 on Aoki. 47 degrees our game time temp with a 108 start here in downtown Detroit. The 1-0 pitch way inside, skips to the backstop. 2-0 on Aoki. 286 hitter last year, Aoki, with the Milwaukee Brewers. Acquired in the offseason by the Royals to set the table, so to speak, for their hitters in the middle of the lineup. Has some speed, will steal some bases, but more than anything else, despite striking out a couple of times on Monday, he puts the ball in play. And he looks at ball 3 down low. Aoki, Infante, and then Hosmer here in the first inning for the Royals. Glad to have you along. Here's the 3-0 pitch. Showing bunt, and he'll look at a strike. In that opener, Aoki was 0 for 5 for KC. Tigers won the opener 4-3 in the walk-off winner.
Imagine that, a one-run game between these two clubs.
Doesn't happen very often, does it? Just about every time. This ball 4, and the leadoff man is on. Time now to check out the particulars on Max Scherzer, presented by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
And Max made 16 starts right here at Comerica Park last year and won 12 games and lost 1. 21 wins on the season. He won his first Cy Young. Also made an all-star team. 240 strikeouts, 56 base on balls for Max Scherzer last year.
And he will face his former teammate now. Omar Infante will stand in for the Royals. Aoki will keep an eye on him. 20 stolen bases last year for Milwaukee.
And we've well documented the fact that even though Max Scherzer doesn't have a very quick move to first base, he does some other things very well, which limits the kind of jumps that the opposing base runners can get against him.
Scherzer walking the leadoff man here. It's something he avoided in spring training. He had only 3 walks in almost 27 innings to go with his 30 strikeouts. Infante takes low, and Max unable to find the strike zone early in this one. 1-0.
And Tigers, the pitchers, continuing the same pattern that they had a couple of days ago against Omar Infante. Lots of breaking balls to Omar. Omar, real good fastball hitter, and more than likely in this count, Omar is going to get him a pretty good fastball to hit.
These two know each other extremely well. Infante batted .318 last year with the Tigers. 10 home runs. Scherzer taking a walk off the mound to try and regroup a little bit. He walked the leadoff man Aoki, and now he's gone 1-0 on Infante. And there's a strike on the inside part of the plate. 1-1 on Omar Infante. Scherzer, a 21-game winner last year. Won his 20th of the season late in September against the White Sox. Now the 1-1. 2 balls and 1 strike. Tigers, for the most part, pitched pretty well in spring camp. Scherzer was 4-2 with a 3.71 ERA down in Lakeland.
Pretty good count here if you're Ned Yost, the manager of the Royals, to put Aoki in motion and allow Infante to try to hit behind him.
It's fouled straight back. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Infante. You know, I don't want to call anybody out, Rod, but John Keating in the booth next to us probably should have made a play on that ball.
He might have had to reach out a little bit too far. And we would not want John beneath us at this point in time.
No, we don't. We want him upright.
2-2
on Infante. And that one bounces in, so Max continues to struggle. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Scherzer last year really pitched well at home. Now obviously pitched well everywhere, but he was 12-1 here at Comerica Park.
And something that Max was outstanding at last year, and that was repeating his delivery, getting into a good rhythm, getting to a nice arm slot, which allowed him to throw a lot of strikes. He's not been able to get into that rhythm through the first 10 pitches of this game. He's been everywhere, all over the place.
Aoki is on the move, and it's lined toward left field, sinking. Collins comes on and played on a hop. And the Royals now have the first 2 men aboard here in the first inning. Walk and a single.
Let's set the Tigers' defensive alignment for you this afternoon. Behind Scherzer, you've got Tyler Collins, the rookie, getting his first major league start in left field today. Jackson in center, Hunter in right, Castellanos, Gonzalez, Kinsler, and Cabrera in the infield, and Alex Avila getting the start once again today, even though Jason Vargas, the starter for the Kansas City Royals, is a left-handed pitcher.
So here's Eric Hosmer, who had a double on opening day, 1 for 4. He batted .302 last season, had a marvelous campaign both with the bat and the glove. And now he's got an early opportunity here with nobody out. And Hosmer looks at a strike. Hosmer last year did some pretty good damage against the Tigers, .319 versus Detroit pitching. He's got Aoki at second base. He's got Infante at first. Here's the 0-1. Driven high in the air to center field. It's going to be playable, though, as Jackson moves over. The runners will tag, and the throw will come back into second base. Aoki will take third. So the Hosmer fly ball advances the lead runner. First out of the inning, and now Billy Butler. Butler was 1 out of 4 for the opener on Monday. And although his numbers last year across the board were very solid, 289, 15, and 82, they were below his season numbers from each of the last 2 years. Billy remains one of the more dangerous hitters, though, in the American League.
Hits a lot of ground balls. Billy hit a couple of ground balls on Monday afternoon right here at Comerica Park, and that's exactly what Max needs here. And Butler very dangerous, but does hit into lots of double plays.
That would get him out of the inning if Max could get one. Ball 1. Butler had a pretty good spring, batted .333 for the Royals. We were talking about this on Monday. It seemed like every Kansas City batter in spring camp had a really good month of March. Here are the spring numbers. Butler also homered. Now the 1-0. 2 balls, no strikes. So Max continuing to fall behind on these Royals hitters.
First couple of pitches to Butler, real good pitches at the bottom of the strike zone. No doubt Max trying to get Butler to hit the ball on the ground. But Butler doing a very nice job of laying off those borderline pitches.
Here's the 2-0 pitch. And it's outside. 3 balls and no strikes. So for Max, who walked the leadoff man, Aoki, falling behind has become a pattern here early on. He has thrown 16 pitches so far, and 10 of them have missed the strike zone. Butler swings on 3-0 and hits a double play ball. 6-4-3, and Max Scherzer pitches out of the jam.
Thank you very much.
Nice call there, partner. Top of the first inning. Here come the Tigers in the bottom of the first. Their starting lineup today presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. And for Brad Ausmus, it'll be Kinsler. The rookie Tyler Collins batting in the 2 slot against the lefty. It'll be Cabrera batting third, then Victor cleaning up. Torrey in the 5-hole today. Then Jackson, Avila, Castellanos, and Alex Gonzalez. And they are facing the left-handed offerings of Jason Vargas.
And Vargas spent last year pitching for the Angels, won 9 games for Los Angeles, lost 8. The Kansas City Royals signed him to a 4-year contract in the offseason to bolster their starting staff.
And so Vargas now will face Kinsler to start things off. Tigers dodge a bullet in the first inning when Billy Butler swings on 3-0 and bounces into a double play. Vargas, the former Angel and Seattle Mariner, goes to work. And Kinsler takes strike 1.
Good pitcher. He's not overpowering. He's not going to light up the radar gun. He spots his fastball inside, outside, up and down. Real good control with that pitch. Lots of changeups to the right-handed batters, not so many to the left-handers. He's got a couple different breaking balls for the left-handed hitters.
That one missed the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. Kinsler in search of his first hit as a Tiger. He was 0 for 4 on Monday in the opener. Ian waves and misses, and the count is 1-2.
The Tigers have seen Vargas a few times, 6 to be exact. Those were when he was with the Seattle Mariners.
I think you said it perfectly. Not overpowering, not a dominant pitcher, but still a very good, solid big league pitcher. That's fouled off the catcher Perez. Last year, 9-game winner, an ERA a shade over 4 for the Angels. Four-year deal was signed in November by Vargas. James Shields started the opener. Vargas today, and we'll see the rookie tomorrow, Yordano Ventura. That missed inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Kinsler.
Vargas does that very well. If he gets ahead of you with that first pitch fastball on the outside corner, once he's gotten ahead of the right-handed batters with 2 strikes, he's not afraid to spot that fastball inside.
Broken bat roller towards short. Escobar has it there. Kinsler is out.
Let's take a look at the Kansas City Royals starting defense, brought to you by Tim Hortons. In the outfield, it is Gordon, Kane, and Aoki. Moustakas, Escobar, and Infante Hosmer round out the infield, and the very talented, and I mean very talented, Salvador Perez is the catcher.
Alcides Escobar doesn't miss too many out there at shortstop. Very slick fielder.
He made a lot of plays on Monday afternoon. He was flawless.
Here is Tyler Collins. He is getting his first start for the Tigers. And he made the ball club after playing in Double-A last year. Had another pretty good spring. Hit 3 home runs this spring. Brad Ausmus saying before the game today he was really taken by the confidence that Collins showed. He'll pop that one up back at third. Moustakas will run it down. 2 gone. Vargas gets the first 2 Tigers he faces. And here's Miguel Cabrera. Two-base hit in the opener on Monday. .348 last season for Detroit. Another MVP campaign. A swing on the first pitch and sky it down the right field line, heading back toward the seats. Going to be a long run, and Aoki couldn't get there.
Well, you wonder how good Miguel Cabrera has been in a Tigers uniform. These are major league ranks. First in batting average, OPS, home runs, RBIs, second in hits, and he's gotten quite a few intentional base on balls. He's been the best hitter in the league.
The 0-1 is inside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
He will do quite a bit of that. As I mentioned, Vargas, he will come inside quite a bit. But when he does come inside against the right-handed batters, he's coming off the plate. It's not necessarily a strike on the inner third.
Here's the 1-1. 2 balls, 1 strike. Well, you can't find anybody else that's won 3 consecutive MVPs unless you're talking about Barry Bonds, who won 4 consecutive MVPs in his day. But you would think that Cabrera certainly has, if he stays healthy this year, and another terrific shot. 2-1 is fouled off. 2-2 now on Miguel. Late spring training. In fact, right before we packed up the truck and headed north, Cabrera signed that 8-year extension with a couple of vesting seasons as well, which could keep Cabrera in Detroit for another 10 years. And as they were talking about, when he goes into the Hall of Fame, hopefully wearing a Tigers cap. Here's the 2-2. Got him, strike 3. Caught him looking, and Vargas has himself a 1-2-3 first.
Of 17 pitches, 10 of which missed the strike zone, but Max had some issues in his bullpen session today. He was not able to find that nice release point which would allow him to throw consistent strikes, and he struggled with his breaking ball, and had a conversation with Jeff Jones, the pitching coach, as to where he was releasing it. Let's hope that he's made some adjustments here in the second inning and he can start to throw the ball over the plate a little bit more efficiently, but he was clearly frustrated in his bullpen warm-up session today before this game.
Well, Alex Gordon starts it off for the Royals here as we go to the second. And Max a bit fortunate that he got that double play ball with Butler swinging on a 3-0 pitch. And that ended the inning. Gordon batted last year .265. He was 0 for 3 in the opener and hammers that one foul back out of play 0-2.
He was their leadoff hitter the last couple of years and did a very nice job in that regard. His doubles went down quite a bit last season, over 50 doubles 2 years ago, down in the 30 range last year, but still a real dangerous player. He could do a lot of things with that bat.
Shoots this one in the air and is shallow left. Collins coming on, still coming, diving, playing left by Tyler Collins. Nicely done by the rookie, getting his first start in this ballpark.
I was talking to Austin Jackson and also Torrey Hunter before the game today, and they said you really cannot see balls off the bat here at Comerica Park during the daylight. You see a lot of white jerseys behind home plate. Max loves it. And that ball, you can't see it until it gets up. So Jackson said the ball a couple of days ago, he didn't see it off the bat. Hunter said it's very difficult to see balls here during the daylight.
Well, here is Salvador Perez with one out. Sends a ground ball to short. That's gobbled up there by Gonzalez. And there are 2 gone. So a couple of quick outs. We'll bring up Mike Moustakas. The Bernstein advantage brings you the pitcher-batter matchup, and Max Scherzer has the Bernstein advantage today on Moustakas, who is only 3 for 23 career against Max.
5 strikeouts in his last 10 plate appearances.
So the Tigers employing that shift where the third baseman Castellanos goes out to short right field defensively. And Moustakas showing bunt.
Not a bad idea. Yeah, the fact that you might get on first base and then you make the Tigers maybe adjust their defensive alignment a little bit as the season rolls on.
Here's the 1-0 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike on Moustakas.
If you weren't with us a couple of days ago, we told you there's a new approach with Mike Moustakas in the batter's box, wide open stance. He went down to winter ball this year for about a month and spent some time with their new hitting coach, Pedro Grifol, and this is the stance that they came up with while they were working down in Venezuela.
Well, yesterday was an off day for both of these teams, but for Mike Moustakas, he was here at Comerica Park with Pedro Grifol, taking some extra swings and getting in the cage, utilizing the off day.
He had a monster spring training.
Here's the 1-2. 2-2 on Moustakas.
Something else they worked on down in Venezuela, and that was cutting down on the strikeouts. A lot of strikeouts last year for Moustakas. They wanted to improve his 2-strike approach to see if he could cut down on the swings and driving some crucial runs with 2 outs.
That is popped in the air to shallow left. Collins coming on for this one. More conventional play and a 1-2-3 inning for Max Scherzer. And the Royals, and Victor Martinez will be leading it off for the Tigers. Our predictions for today's Fox Sports Detroit Tigers Player of the Game are presented by McDonald's new Bacon Clubhouse Burger, and John Keating's going with Victor Martinez today. Oh, look what Rod's going with.
Going with the rookie.
Yeah, Tyler Collins already made a diving play, and I'm going to go with Ian Kinsler. See the final results. Tigers Live postgame. Our Tigers Player of the Game. There's a strike called on Victor Martinez.
That's what Vargas will do. Usually on the second pitch, he will not go back outside with a fastball. He'll either go soft with something as a changeup outside, or he'll come inside with a fastball, as he's done so many times already today.
Missed it outside, and the count evens now 1-1. Vargas had a snappy 1-2-3 first inning through only 13 pitches, including a strikeout of Miguel Cabrera. 1-2 on Victor. Torrey Hunter to follow, and then Austin Jackson. Vargas is 31 years of age, born in Apple Valley, California. Now the 1-2. Bouncing ball to short. Escobar has it. Martinez is out.
Here's a little bit of what Mr. Vargas will feature here today. He has a really good changeup, a plus changeup. He throws it a lot to the right-handed batters, but something they've been working on him with, and that's starting to throw the left-handed pitch to some of the left-handed batters. There's a changeup there, but his signature pitch, he can really spot that fastball. He turns his back. There's some deception, and he usually keeps the ball down in the strike zone. So he doesn't throw 95 miles an hour, but he makes up for that with his command and the fact that he'll throw off-speed pitches at any certain count.
Torrey is batting in the 5 spot today. Austin Jackson hit 5th in the opener.
He's got some really good command early in this game with that outside fastball, anywhere from 85 to 87. He's on the black.
Now the 0-1. Missed inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Brad saying today that he likes Hunter in the 5 hole against left-handed pitching. Torrey was hitless in the opener, batting in the 2 spot. Here's the 1-1. We'll shoot that one in the air to shallow right center field, and it's going to stay up long enough for Lorenzo Cain. 2 outs. Well, what kind of day do we have here at the ballpark today? Today's game conditions are presented by Ace Hardware and the Scott's Company. 50 degrees right now at the ballpark. It is dry, and that's a good thing because supposedly there is some wet stuff moving in a little bit later on this week, but sunny and cool right now, so that's good. Comerica Park had a sellout crowd here on Monday. Austin Jackson takes a strike, 0-1.
They had 45,000 in here. They probably had about 15 to 20,000 other people outside just soaking it all in, having a blast.
It was the 2nd largest crowd in Comerica Park history. It was the largest opening day crowd. So it certainly was a fun time here on Monday. In fact, the Tigers now have won 6 consecutive home openers. Line drive to center. Cain coming on. He'll make the play in another 1-2-3 inning. No runs, no hits, nobody left. On our way to the 3rd as they check out some Tigers baseball from the Champions Club today. Tigers baseball this afternoon is presented by Bell Tire. On Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank, a part of Detroit and the community since 1849. By Dodge, come and see the award-winning Dodge lineup during award season. And by Maxwell House Large Can Coffee, good to the last drop. Ooh, Phantom Cam has returned, which gives us a unique look at some of the sights And, you know, throughout the whole season, you just never know when Phantom Cam is going to show up.
We'll just enjoy it when he gets here.
Scherzer back to work now in the third inning, and he throws a strike to Lorenzo Cain. It'll be Cain, Escobar, and Aoki. 251 last year for Cain. Shoots one on the ground to third, straight at Castellanos. Let's go back to the studio now for game break. Mickey York. All right, Mick, thanks. Here we are scoreless as well as we play in the top of the third.
Only one other game being played under the sunlight today. Everything else is a night game.
Here's Alcides Escobar. Well, in these parts of the country, you really you take a chance to play some night baseball and the temperatures you might get. So that's why you see a lot of the day games here at Comerica during the early parts of the season in the month of April. 1 ball, 1 strike on Escobar. 0 for 3 with a walk in Monday's opener. Max has turned things around nicely here after struggling a bit with his command in the first inning. Fouled straight back, 1-2. Scherzer, in fact, had a 9-pitch second inning.
And the majority of the pitches that he threw in that second inning were all strikes after really struggling with his command in the first inning.
Lofted in the air to shallow right center field. Kinsler goes back. Escobar flares one out there for the second out. 7 straight retired now by Max. And back to the top of the order we go. Nori Aoki. Walked but did not score back in the first inning. That'll go foul down the first base line. Rod, you played in Japan. How much of the language did you pick up when you were in Japan?
You know, I did not learn a lot of the language because, you know, we had an interpreter. And so I used him to the fullest, whether it was during breakfast time in the morning, whether it be ordering food, or at night after a game when we were eating. And, of course, that's how he was used as far as our conversations were concerned with the manager and the teammates as well. So I didn't pick up a lot of it, but I didn't really try to either. I just kind of used my interpreter.
So you pretty much said, order me a cheeseburger.
Exactly.
There's a strike called, 1-2. Well, we are told that Aoki, translated from Japanese to English, means blue tree. And he's wearing a blue uniform these days in the big leagues. Here's the 1-2. Outside, 2-2. So you did not know that that meant blue tree then?
I had no idea.
Me either.
That meant blue tree, but it's real nice to learn that today.
And for those of you that think that I just made that up, it really is true. At least I read it. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and it's fouled away.
If you read it, you know it's true.
But Keating's giving me grief now because he's the only guy that digs up stuff like that or has the guts to use it. 2-2 on Aoki. 8 years playing professionally in Japan before he came over to the United States. And Max again with a 2-2. Full count.
Good changeup there thrown by Max. Aoki did a very nice job to lay off of that pitch. And most left-handers are swinging at that. But he doesn't take a big swing.
And he got him, strike 3. Couldn't pull the trigger there, and Max picks up his first strikeout of the ball game. Scherzer has retired 8 straight. you by Arby's. Try Arby's 2 for $5 mix and match deal today. And by Bell Tire. Get the lowest tire price, period. Bell Tire. Well, check this out. These sweet carts outside of these suites here at Comerica Park. Look at that, Rod.
That's the sweets chart?
Oh, man, look at that
cart.
Excuse me. If I could right now, I'd dive right in the middle of that chocolate cake.
That's a big cake.
That it is. But you and I could probably polish that off, no problem.
We're on the sweet level. They don't ever stop by here.
No, they don't. We got to fix that. It's just a quick jaunt down from the suites into the booth. Here is Avila to start things off here in the bottom of the third. No score. Ball 1 to Alex. It's been a pretty good start for Vargas, who up until Avila here had thrown first pitch strikes on all 6 batters. And he's retired all 6 so far. The 1-0. Missed it inside, 2-0.
Last year, Vargas struggled against left-handed pitching. Left-handed hitters, excuse me. Left-handers hit .327 against him. Right-handers only .256. That's why Avila back in there today. That's why Tyler Collins also gets his first start. And the reason for that is he doesn't throw his changeup very often to the left-handed batters. He uses it to the right-handers, and it's one of his better off-speed pitches.
He's gone 3-0 now on Avila. Alex, you might recall, had that key walk in the 9th inning on opening day. The start of the rally, the winning rally. And he'll look at his strike. He thought he had ball 4. And in fact, Avila walked a couple of times. He will get it to Castellanos, who's waiting on deck. And the 3-1 pitch. Inside. That's ball 4. Third walk already on the season now for Avila. First base runner of the game for the Tigers. Here's Nick Castellanos. A lot was made of the Gonzalez game-winning hit, and deservedly so, but it was a base hit by Castellanos earlier in the inning that really set up that scoring chance for Detroit. And I guess, Rod, it's kind of a sign of things to come, because it was classic Castellanos, just line one to right field. He's got that inside-out swing, which produces a lot of balls hit the opposite way.
And Kansas City Royals, during the beginning of that game, his first 3 at-bats, they gave him a lot of breaking balls, lots of off-speed stuff, and he couldn't really lay off of them. He finally slowed the swing down that last at-bat and got himself a base hit the opposite way. Vargas continues to pound the right-handers inside with a fastball, even though it only tops out at 87 miles an hour.
Swing and a miss, 1-2 on Nick.
There's that change piece. He's got some outstanding arm action with it. And once he turns his back and shows you his number 51, he gives you the same arm speed with the fastball that he does with the changeup. And that's what makes it very difficult for the right-handed batters to pick up.
Rolled foul, third base side, right by Dave Clark. 1-2 on Castellanos.
When you go up against pitchers like Vargas at the beginning of the season, they really have the advantage, because you really go through all spring training and you're seeing a lot of fastballs from all the pitchers in the Cactus League, also in the Grapefruit League. That's the pitch everybody's working on. That's the arm strength pitch that you use to build up your arm strength. But then once the season starts and you see a guy like Vargas who has outstanding arm action with his off-speed pitches, he can keep you off balance. Guys that throw hard beginning of the year, not a problem for the hitters. But guys that have the kind of off-speed stuff that Vargas does present problems early in the season. Guys don't have that good adjustment yet against off-speed pitches.
He'll shoot that one in the air to left field. Gordon is under it. Castellanos is out, one gone. Now the number 9 hitter, Alex Gonzalez. Gonzalez really had 2 big hits on opening day. Of course, the game winner in the 9th inning, but he also had the triple off Aaron Crow in the 7th inning, and that tied the game at 3. Tigers really did a pretty good job against the bullpen, which is considered to be one of the best, if not the best, in the American League.
And Royals have to be kicking themselves at the fact that they lost that game. They didn't lose many games like they lost a couple of days ago in 2013.
Ball 1.
Here are those 2 big hits you were talking about. This is the triple. This is in the 7th inning. Then, of course, against their closer, Greg Holland, he got himself in a 2-1 count, got a breaking ball, stayed on it, and hit it right past the shortstop Escobar.
And that set off the celebration. That's in the air to center field. Lorenzo Cain is under it. 2nd out of the inning. And Avila back to first base. Here's Ian Kinsler. Kinsler bounced out to the shortstop Escobar in his first at bat. Ian, in his days with the Texas Rangers, did quite a bit of setting the table. In fact, he scored 100 runs in 4 of his 6 years with Texas. And he looks at ball 1. Avila started the inning with a walk. He is still at first base with 2 outs. There's the strike called by home plate umpire Paul Emmel. Boy, Vargas is just methodical and surgical in just the way he goes after hitters. Inside, outside, up and down.
And Tigers really haven't had any good swings against Vargas so far.
Runner goes. Here comes the throw from Perez. High tag and got him. Salvador Perez cuts down Alex Avila to end the inning. No runs. They get a walk. Lead none. 3 in the books here at Comerica Park. Hashtag Tigers fan photo for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast. It is brought to you by AT&T. Again, the hashtag is Tigers fan photo, and you just might be on an upcoming Tigers broadcast. Another nice day for baseball here. A little bit cooler than opening day, but sunny nonetheless. Max Scherzer has gone 3 scoreless so far, and he will face Omar Infante to start things off. You see, he's become much more economical in terms of balls and strikes in the last 2 innings compared to the first. Royals had the best scoring opportunity of the game back in the first inning, first and third with one out, but Butler bounced into a double play. Infante had a single in the first. And Omar looks at a strike, and the count is 0-2.
Good changeup here by Max, thrown to Infante. And no problem for the Tigers' right-handed starters to just throw changeups to the right-handed batters. They are fearless with that pitch.
And that's not really the norm, is it?
Well, it's starting to be. I mean, more and more right-handers are starting to throw the changeup to the right-handed batters. But the left-handers, as we've mentioned already here today, and Jason Vargas is an example of that. Left-handers don't like to do that to the left-handed batters, but right-handers, they're not afraid to do so.
2-2 now on Infante.
And Max can go a couple different ways here against Infante. Infante, good fastball hitter, but if you climb the ladder, he might chase it. Or you can simply go something soft slider down and away to see if you can get a swing and miss. With fastball away, didn't get it quite high enough.
Infante really didn't play a whole lot this spring. He had bone spurs in his elbow. As you look at Hosmer waiting on deck, and Omar, in fact, played in only 8 games with KC.
He said it didn't hurt to throw, but it hurt to swing.
That's odd. Straight back it comes. 2-2. The count stays on Infante. Omar signed a 4-year deal in December. Royals have had a couple of second basemen the last couple of years that they've had go through, and Getz and Giavotella. It looks like Infante is going to solidify that position for them.
It's the one position in their infield that they really have not solidified the last few years. They've given several guys the opportunity.
Swing and a miss. Omar goes down, 1 out.
Outstanding pitch thrown here by Scherzer. It's the curveball, and as the pitch now Max starts to throw against the right-handers and the left-handers. That pitch is a lot tighter this year than it was last year. And Max will use that pitch not only to get ahead of the left-handers and right-handers, but as we watched him do right there, he'll use that pitch to put away the right-handed batter in Infante.
Hosmer shoots one back up the middle into center.
He hunts fastballs. And when you throw him a fastball, you better make it in a good area, or Hosmer's going to hit it hard somewhere.
Max had retired 9 straight prior to that single, and the Royals have their second hit. That brings up Billy Butler.
Don't forget about Hosmer over at first base. He's not a true base stealer, but he does have the ability to steal a base if you forget about him.
Butler last year bounced into 28 double plays, which was the most in the American League. He hit into one earlier in this game today. That is lined right at the first baseman. Cabrera will turn around and touch the bag for the double play. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th. No score. Comerica Park, the New Amsterdam 416 bar, which is exactly how many feet it is from home plate. And a new addition to the right field area at Comerica Park. That area, Rod, got some rave reviews on opening day.
Well, I have a feeling that during the course of the year, when we happen to get one of our rare days off, and I do come down here during the course of the summer, I might belly up right up there. I think so. Isn't that where they got the couch? Isn't that where the couch was?
You're going to belly up out there.
That's where the couch was, right?
It was.
Oh, yeah. I'll be up there with my feet kicked up. You know it.
Television going, beverage in hand. And the first pitch is hammered to the air, deep into left center field off the bat of Kinsler, way back, and that ball is gone. It is out of here. It's a home run for Ian Kinsler. His first as a Tiger, and Detroit has the lead. By the way, he's my player of the game yet.
Is he?
I'm off to a good start.
First pitch fastball, first time up. Kinsler was up. This time he gets himself a little lollipop breaking ball. It's a curveball that doesn't do a whole lot, and that's a really good swing by Ian Kinsler. I mean, you can draw an imaginary line right from the bill of the cap right down through the middle of his body. That was great balance.
Kinsler hit 13 homers last year for the Rangers. He's got his first as a Tiger, and that's his first hit overall as a Tiger as well. 1 ball, 1 strike on Tyler Collins. Popped up to third in his first at bat. Here's the 1-1. Little chopper to the right side of the infield, straight at Hosmer. He'll gobble it up.
Let's take a peek at how Vargas attacked Miguel Cabrera, the most dangerous hitter in the game. First time up, first pitch fastball located outside. Miggy pops it up. Then he goes off the plate inside, misses with another pitch, comes back with a 2-1 changeup, and then he follows that up with a fastball right down the middle that Miguel must have thought he was going to get something soft again, and he watched it go by. That was a nice job by Vargas, but Vargas will have to change second time through against Miguel.
Ball 1 away on Cabrera.
Starts him off with a changeup that time after he started him off with a fastball his first time up.
Miguel not a fan of that call either. And that is in there for a strike. So the Tigers have the lead on the home run. Ian Kinsler goes deep, his first RBI as well.
Mickey sitting on that fastball inside this time around.
Drilled right at the second baseman, Infante, who throws his glove up. Thing was scalded. 2 gone. Hey, by the way, make plans to come to Comerica Park this season. Don't miss your chance to see the Tigers battle the Yankees, Red Sox, Dodgers, and more. Call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com. Two outs now for Victor Martinez. Victor rolled out 6-3 his first time up. Martinez had that big charge toward the end of last year to finish over 300 in the batting average column, and now in his career he's hit 300 7 different seasons.
Not only did he have that huge charge at the tail end of the regular season, but he carried it right into the postseason. He was one of the more consistent performers with that bat along with Peralta during the postseason.
Yeah, he was huge in the postseason. In fact, he hit over 400 in the playoffs last year. Here's the 1-1. How much of Martinez's rebound in the second half last year, Rod, do you think helped pave the way for the Prince Fielder trade, knowing that the Tigers did have somebody behind Miguel?
That and the fact that he did such a nice job in protecting Miguel back in 2011. So that had to coming to the conversation when Dave and Al Avila were entertaining the thought of trading Prince to the Texas Rangers. They felt like Victor could do the job behind Miggy.
Here are the numbers last year in the second half. 361.
Back in 2011, Victor drove in over 100 runs, even though he hit just 12 homers.
Home run by Kinsler today has given the Tigers the lead. Putting a smile on his face. Strike called on the outer edge.
Pitcher's pitch right there. Victor really can't do anything with that. Paul Emmel calls it a strike, but this is a pitcher's pitch. When you get yourself in the count, 3 balls, 1 strike, you don't want to swing at that. You just got to tip your hat to the pitcher in that particular case. See if he can make that same pitch.
Line drive, center field, base hit.
Vargas went outside with a 3-1 changeup to get the second called strike. He comes back with the same pitch, same location. Victor waiting on that particular pitch, not trying to do too much with it, simply creates the bat angle, which allows him to drive the ball the other way. That's a real good look there at how you kind of lead with the bat knob to get to the area that you want to be in as a hitter.
Here's Torrey Hunter now with a man on and 2 men out. And Torrey swings on the first pitch and flies it to center field where Kane is positioned. And the inning is over. Tigers grab the lead on the Kinsler homer. Solo shot as we go to the 5th inning. Mario and Pemba, Rod Allen back here at the ballpark. Good to see Max Scherzer really kind of turn things around, Rod, after a first inning in which he struggled to throw strikes.
Well, he also struggled in his bullpen session before the contest today. Jeff Jones, I'm sure he talked to Max after that very first inning. They got back to the drawing board. He's getting to a more consistent arm slot, and he's been able to throw all his pitches for strikes.
Good to see Kinsler get that first hit, that first home run. You know, he was wanting that. He was hitless in the opener. Good to get it.
Well, he hit quite a few home runs in Texas the last 5 years. The Tigers are going to love Ian Kinsler batting in that leadoff spot for them most days. He has the ability to hit the ball out of the ballpark. He can also steal you a base, and he plays the game with a little bit of an edge, too. I think I'm going to like Ian Kinsler.
Well, he has given the Tigers a 1-0 lead as Scherzer goes back to work in the 5th inning, and he will deliver a strike to Alex Gordon. It'll be Gordon, Perez, Moustakas for the Royals here in the 5th. Hammered down the right field line. That ball is hooking, and it's a foul ball.
Gordon knows he's going to get quite a few off-speed pitches from the Tigers because that's just the way that they attack him. He was sitting on something soft there at 81 miles an hour, but he got out in front of it too quick and hooked that ball foul.
Scherzer at one point retiring 9 straight before Hosmer singled in the 4th inning, but the Tigers have turned 2 double plays behind him. Here's the 0-2. Gordon has turned into a really good two-way player. Had 17 assists last year, which led the American League for outfielders, and he also picked one up on opening day. Here's the 1-2. Broken bat. It's going to drop into center field, base hit. Leadoff man is on for the Royals. Well, join us tomorrow when the Tigers wrap up this series with KC. Our coverage begins at noon with Tigers Live. That's Tigers Royals tomorrow at noon. You can see it right here on Fox Sports Detroit. Here is Salvador Perez. KC now with 3 hits on the afternoon. And Perez, who was 4 for 4 on opening day, bounced out his first time up.
He's got good career numbers against Max, and he loves hitting in this ballpark as well. Came into the game .389 batting average against Max. He's hit 2 home runs against Scherzer in the 2 years he's been in the big leagues.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Got to go a couple of different ways against Salvador Perez. You have to elevate the fastball above the belt buckle to get him to swing and miss, or you simply have to go soft away. He'll have difficulty staying back on that pitch, but you better get it down.
Perez this spring hit .370 for the Royals. Leadoff single by Alex Gordon. Alex last year had 11 steals for KC. Scherzer that time turning and firing to first base. Rosen 1-2.
Good curveball. Much tighter spin this year with that curveball thrown by Max. Not as big as the curveball was last year.
Scherzer has only 2 strikeouts so far in this game.
He'll take another ground ball right here.
And now Perez is given time at home plate. Max last year had 10 or more strikeouts 8 different times. That's how you rack up 240, which was second in the American League. Yu Darvish led the way with 277. Now the 1-2. Tried to check it, couldn't do it, and Perez is out of there.
Nice job there by Max, getting ahead and then throwing something out of the strike zone to get Perez to chase it.
So make it 3 strikeouts on the afternoon now for Scherzer. That'll bring up Mike Moustakas. You were talking about the big spring that he had earlier in the game. 18 RBIs, which was a league high in spring camp.
Very encouraging for the Kansas City Royals to see Moustakas come into the season with that kind of confidence.
He had 4 home runs as well and hit over 400. You've seen him now a couple of years, Rod. What are your impressions on what he needs to do to get to that next level?
Too pull happy. You might want to think about driving the ball into left center field, and especially with 2 strikes, think about driving the ball the opposite way. Tries to pull everything right now, and I think that's where he falls into trouble.
0-1 on Moustakas.
They have a lot of confidence in him. Here's a kid that really has never struggled
until he got to the big leagues. Real nice high school player, real good in the minor leagues. He has shown flashes of brilliance here at this level with the glove and with the bat, but he just hasn't been consistent enough.
He was the minor league player of the year several years ago in the Royals system. 36 home runs in a single season. He's played a very good third base. Part of that young core that the Royals has had together now for a couple of years. Oh, 0-2 on Mike Moustakas. Runner goes. Fly ball left field. Right at Collins, who backs up a bit. Wynn grabs a hold of it, and there are 2 outs. It's going to bring up Lorenzo Cain. 5-3 ground out his first at bat. A couple of years ago, the Royals traded away Zach Greinke, and they got in return Lorenzo Cain and the guy hitting behind him, Alcides Escobar, their shortstop. But Cain last year played in 115 games.
If they can keep him healthy, he patrols center field as well as any center fielder in the American League.
Yeah, and that's the key. 115 games doesn't seem like a whole lot, but in his history in the big leagues, that's the most he has played in a single season.
He's a late bloomer as well, and didn't play a whole lot of baseball growing up, which means he's basically still learning how to play the game on the fly here in the major leagues. Which gives you an idea of how talented he is.
Good stop by Avila on the backhand there. 1-0 on Cain.
That's the first pitch that we've seen Max throw since the first inning, where he just kind of looked out of whack when he delivered that ball. Arm slot was not in a good position, therefore Avila had to do a very nice job just to glove that ball to prevent Gordon from getting himself down in the scoring position.
Big swing there by Cain.
Very important for the Tigers to keep Alex Avila healthy this year. When he was healthy last year and catching, Tigers pitching staff was outstanding. And the key is just keeping him healthy all year long to allow him to handle the pitching staff the way that he's able to do so. Real good game caller. Very intelligent catcher.
Well, if they can stop Avila from getting so dinged up by foul balls, which I guess just chance. I mean, it happens that way. Some catchers just get hit more than others. But he clearly has had his bell rung a couple of times. Concussion symptoms has kept him out of the lineup. But he looked good this spring. He's got Brian Holiday backing him up this year. Tigers last couple of years have had some veterans in Pena and Gerald Laird. Here's the 1-2. Runner goes. Swing and a miss. Settle in the inning. Scherzer 4 strikeouts. They leave a man. And you're watching Tigers baseball today, presented by Bell Tire. Detroit is brought to you by AT&T. Rethink possible. Another beautiful day for baseball here in the Motor City. Bottom of the fifth inning. Tigers have the 1-0 lead on the Ian Kinsler home run. And Detroit will take their swings again against Jason Vargas here in the fifth inning. They've got Jackson, and then Avila, and then Castellanos. Tigers have a run on 2 hits, no runs, 3 hits for KC. There's a ball outside. Jackson flied to center field at his first at bat, 0 for 1, and now 1 for 5 with a triple to start the season. He pops that one up foul. He'll get back into the seats. 1 ball, 1 strike. Vargas spent 4 years in Seattle, a couple with the Mets and a couple with the Florida Marlins, the team that he came up with. Much of his better work in the major leagues, though, came with the Seattle Mariners. Here's the 1-1. 2 balls and 1 strike. He attended 3 different colleges. Started out at LSU. Ended up at Long Beach State, where he was a teammate of Jared Weaver's. The 2-1 pitch. 2-2 on Jackson. Long Beach State, Rod, is known for churning out some big league players, aren't they?
Tulowitzki.
Yeah.
Evan Longoria. You mentioned Jared Weaver. They've had some good players, position players and pitchers. Dirtbags is their nickname.
Got him, strike 3. Jackson punched out of there. 1 out here in the fifth. Here's some of the particulars on Mr. Vargas. Here are the colleges he played with: Louisiana State, Cypress College, and then he ended up at Long Beach State. He's had some injuries along the way, including got blood clots in his left arm. Here's Avila now with 1 out. Alex in spring camp this year hit 306 after a really good month of September last year. A couple of walks in the opener, plus a hit. He can be a real key toward the bottom half of the Tigers lineup this year if he can return back to form that he had a couple of years ago when he made the All-Star team. Silver Slugger Award. Started the All-Star game, as a matter of fact, behind the dish. One and 2 on Avila. And Vargas has another strikeout, 2 of them here in the fifth inning. I want to mention this: you can have a party in the comfort of a Comerica Park suite in April and enjoy the April suite deal, which includes tickets, food, parking, all at a special discount price. Call 313-471-BALL or visit tigers.com. That's the kind of view you will have out of one of the awesome suites here at Comerica. The April suite deal. Check it out. Here's Castellanos. Strike 1 on Castellanos.
Vargas is dealing. Not getting it done with a 95-mile-per-hour fastball. Doesn't have a wipeout slider, but man, he's commanding that fastball. He's got some action on the changeup. Nice curveball. He's in some kind of rhythm out there right now.
Yeah, rhythm is the key word because he has wasted little time between pitches. And the only really blemish, the home run that he gave up to Ian Kinsler.
Really hasn't thrown one pitch right down the middle of the plate all afternoon long.
1 and 2. Got him swinging, and Vargas strikes out the side here in the fifth inning. We are headed to the 6th. 1-0 Detroit. Max Scherzer through the eyes of Phantom Cam here at the ballpark today after a bit of a slow start. Max rebounding nicely. 4 strikeouts in this contest, but helped out by a couple of double plays. And here is the Scherzer line as we head to the 6th inning of play here at the ballpark today, and a gorgeous sunny day, and so far so good for Max. 17 pitch first inning, but he has since turned things around. Only 3 hits and 4 strikeouts. Here's Alcides Escobar to start things off now as we head to the 6th inning. And Escobar looks at a strike, 0-1. The Royals really since that first inning have not had a whole lot shaken. They had runners at first and third with 1 out, but then the Butler double play ended that frame. That's flared down the right field line, slicing away from Torrey, and he won't be able to get there. 0-2 the count. The Royals last year had 31, count them, 31 one-run victories, which I guess, Rod, speaks to their bullpen strength.
And also that they can manufacture a run real late in the game. They didn't have a lot of power, but they have a lot of speed, and they're fearless running the bases. And that bullpen was locked down. It was one of the best bullpens in all of baseball last year.
Well, the Royals made market improvement last season. They were up 14 victories from the year before that under Ned Yost. They won 86 last year. One and 2 on Alcides Escobar.
Kansas City believes this is their year to get back to the postseason. They have not been to the postseason in a long time. Ned Yost, their skipper, feels like they can play with anybody in the American League. And they do have a lot of youth, and they have a lot of talent.
That ball is outside. Well, you can say, well, really, do they have very many veterans? But, I mean, is Billy Butler a veteran?
He's a veteran.
Yeah. Is Alex Gordon a veteran? He's been around a while now.
He's a veteran as well.
You know, when is that time where you kind of cross over from a non-veteran to a guy that's been around long enough? There's a wave and a miss.
Max got off to a sluggish start here today. In the first inning, he threw 17 pitches. 10 of those were out of the strike zone. Walked the leadoff hitter. Billy Butler bailed him out on a 3-0 pitch. He was swinging. It was a ground ball to the shortstop. Taylor made double play. But after that first inning, Max got busy. A lot better action on the off-speed pitches. The fastball he was able to command and throw for strikes. And a result of that is the Kansas City Royals have done nothing with him since the first inning.
Aoki sends a slow roller towards second base. Kinsler has it, and there are 2 gone. And while we have a chance, back to the studio we go. Here's Mickey York. All right, Mick, thanks. And really the only run here, not too many hits in this contest, 5 total. The only run coming on the Kinsler home run. Here's Omar Infante with 2 outs. 1 out of 2 today for the Royals. Omar Infante had a single in the first. One and one. Omar, of course, came over in that deal with Anibal Sanchez from Miami in 2012, a deal that Dave Dombrowski made at the trading deadline.
Performed well in a Tigers uniform, solidified that second base position, hit down in the bottom of the batting order, hit for some power, drove in some key runs last year, and plays a real solid second base.
Spent so much time in a Tigers uniform. 8 seasons of his big league career so far in a Tigers uniform. Here's the 2-1. 3-1 now on Infante. Down the left field line, hooking down the line and back out of play. We'll be talking spring training about how Ian Kinsler had to learn how to play with new shortstop. It seemed like every day as the Tigers were juggling shortstops. Kind of the same thing with Alcides Escobar and Omar Infante, because Infante was injured much of spring camp, so they didn't have time to work on their double play combination skills.
Hey, no, they didn't. And as a matter of fact, Alcides Escobar, the shortstop, also missed quite a bit of time during the course of spring.
Right at the third baseman Castellanos, who knocks it down and stays with it. And Max, another 1-2-3 inning. To the bottom of the 6th we go. Photo using hashtag TigersFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown on an upcoming game broadcast. It is brought to you by AT&T. Use TigersFanPhoto and submit your photo, and we'll start showing some of those beginning next week on our broadcast. Brought to you by AT&T. Mom's trying to get a Go Tigers out of him.
You don't want none of that.
Wasn't buying.
Give me something to drink.
Bottom of the 6th inning.
Well, you let me just watch the game.
And get that camera out of my face. Gonzalez, Kinsler, and Collins here facing Vargas. Ball missing away. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Got to give Vargas a lot of credit. He's thrown a lot of fastballs on the outside part of the plate. Some of them borderline strikes, some of them balls. But Paul Emmel has gone up with that right hand quite frequently, and he continues to go out there and get the call.
Vargas struck out the sign back in the 5th. Gonzalez fly to center field, his only time up.
I did not know the action changeup Vargas is featuring. It was as good as it has been here today. Several Tigers have not been able to hit it.
That play by Escobar, and it was unable to be scooped though by Hosmer, so the runner is safe.
That's what Escobar will do. He will show you a lot of range at the shortstop position, whether it be going to the left or whether it be going to the right. This time just doesn't make a good throw. But one of the things that he gets helped out quite frequently on the other end is by Hosmer, who won a Gold Glove last year, but Hosmer not able to help him that time.
So it'll go as a base hit, which means Gonzalez now has 3 hits on the season and the only run of the game so far on 1 swing of the bat. Mr. Kinsler with a home run in the 4th. First as a Tiger, he hit 13 last year with Texas.
3 sack bunts last year for Kinsler. The Royals, though, do not think he's up there bunting.
And nor did he show it in that first pitch. 0-1. Each ball club now with 3 hits in this game. Leadoff single by Gonzalez. And that one's butted foul down the 3rd base line.
It's a great idea. He was not sacrificing there. He was simply bunting for a base hit with Moustakas playing 5 steps in back of that 3rd base bag. Had Kinsler gotten it down, it would have been a sure base hit.
Way high. 1-2 on Kinsler. Tigers now have gotten the leadoff man on for the 3rd time in this game. Driven to left center field. That's going to drop. Base hit. Move Gonzalez to second base. The Tigers have something brewing now here in the 6th inning.
That is a thing of beauty by Ian Kinsler. Previous pitch with 2 strikes was a fastball up that Kinsler did not chase, and then he came back with a slow breaking ball down and in, and just a really good swing by Kinsler with 2 strikes, not trying to do too much. That phantom cam really gives you a good look at the technique of the hitters, whether it be the left-handers or the right-handers. You could really see how, the hips rotate, how the hands come into the hitting zone, how the head is directly down on the baseball. I love that phantom cam.
Really some things you don't see with the naked eye. They look for a bunt with Collins up there, but no sign of it. 1-0. 3rd baseman Moustakas close. Hosmer is in at first as well. Collins 0 for 2. Will pop up foul. Collins batting in the 2 slot in this game. It's his first major league start. And Brad Austin was saying before the game today that it's a pretty comfortable spot when you're able to bat in front of Miguel Cabrera, and then the hope was he would get some pitches that he'd be able to drive.
Now, some of you out there may be wondering why in the world wouldn't Collins be sacrificing here, and the fact of that is if he does do it successfully, Miguel Cabrera would not hit. They would simply walk Miggy intentionally and go after Victor Martinez.
There's a chopper hit to the second baseman. Infante, Escobar, and a double play that nipped him at the wire. 2 gone with a runner at 3rd. That was close. Really close. Brad Osmond's thinking about it now. He's going to take the slow walk out there. He may want to challenge this. We'll see.
Well, it's a crucial part of the game. Can't quite tell from that last angle, but if that right foot is on the bag before that ball gets into Hosmer's glove, this may be a nice challenge for Osmus.
Well, right now, Brad is trying to kill some time while Matt Martin is looking at this, the defensive coordinator, and apparently Brad has gotten a signal to say, yeah, let's challenge this, and he will. But that's part of the cat and mouse game. The manager has to go out there and kill enough time for his defensive coordinator to see whether or not they want to give the signal to challenge it. And apparently they do. So we'll get an instant replay here as Brad Osmus will use his challenge. Now, if he is correct, he will get another one. If he is incorrect or it is not overturned, he will lose his challenge. He may win this. I mean, that was pretty close. But it looked like he just might have beaten it. And Collins runs surprisingly well for a guy that has this kind of power in his build.
Yeah, a couple of years ago stole quite a few bases in A-ball.
You brought up a good point, Rod, in that this might not be a bad spot because it could potentially be a big inning here to use that challenge.
Well, if he is called safe or ruled safe after they review it, then you have first and third with one out, and that might entice the Royals into pitching to Miguel Cabrera. But with two outs here and a runner on third, they might simply intentionally walk Miggy to go after Victor. So it may depend on whether Miggy gets a chance to hit or not.
Really good point. They are showing the replays here on the big board at Comerica Park, so you may hear some cheers every now and then. The fans believe he was safe. What do the umpires say?
Yeah, they are waiting for the ruling from the command center in New York,
where they have two extra umpiring crews that have been hired this year to rotate through the command center. So they are taking a look at all of the different angles, up to 12 that they have available, or 12 cameras available,
and any other looks that we may be able to provide for them that they do not have with the 12 cameras they have.
Well, they're taking a really long look at this.
Looks safe.
I think this is probably going to go to the way of the Tigers here. I think they're going to call him safe, but we shall see. And he is safe. So Brad Osmus challenges, and he wins the challenge. Nicely done, Skipper. So now here is Cabrera with runners at first and third. That was one of the lengthier delays that we have had. Typically they've been, I don't know, anywhere between 30 seconds and a minute and a half. That one was just under 3 minutes. Here's the ball low to Cabrera.
First time up, Vargas started Miguel off with a fastball. Second time up, changeup. Third time up, curveball, which is exactly what you have to do to a hitter like Miguel Cabrera. You have to change your pitch pattern against him every time he steps in that batter's box.
But you brought up an interesting point, Rod, one that's worth considering. If they had called him out, they probably don't pitch to Cabrera here.
No, with two outs, they would much rather go after Victor Martinez in this particular situation versus going after Miguel with a runner on third, less than 2 outs. He's pretty much automatic in these situations.
Bouncing in, 2 balls and no strikes. This is where Miguel makes his money. $397 with men in scoring position last year.
He makes a whole lot of that. Oh, brother.
Yes, it does. Two and 0 on Miggy. Ooh, big swing there, and the count goes 2-1.
Good pitch by Vargas. He's done it all afternoon. Fastball count, simply throws that changeup fading down and away from the right-handed hitters, and very few Tigers have been able to square this pitch up.
Swing and a miss. 2-2 on Miguel Cabrera.
And we might see Miguel on this two-strike count go to his emergency hack, where he's not picking that front foot off the ground, simply spreads out, picks the heel off the ground. He's simply looking to make contact now, so he might go to his two-strike approach here.
Tigers have runners at first and third. That one missed inside. Run at full now, 3-2.
Do you dare go back inside with another fastball here for your Vargas, or do you simply go with the best pitch you've had all afternoon, which is a changeup? Might be better served going inside.
They're deciding that right now. Left side of the infield. Moustakas coming home with it, and out at home plate. So Cabrera is aboard on the fielder's choice.
Here's our bell tire pitch by pitch. First pitch changeup down, and he continues to throw Miguel off speed pitches, and he works the count back even 2-2. Fastball inside to knock him off the plate, goes right back outside to get to Miguel to roll over on that fastball. A nice job by Moustakas coming home. Not sure whether they could have turned two or not.
So here's Victor Martinez now with 2 outs. Single and a ground out in this game for Victor. Homered in the opener on Monday. And that one's low, 1-0.
And Vargas not out of the woods yet. Martinez, an outstanding hitter. Doesn't strike out very often. Gives you a quality at bat when runners are in scoring position.
Now the count is 2-0 on Martinez. And Vargas is about to throw his 20th pitch of this 6th inning.
If you're Victor here, you can sit on something off speed if you choose to do so. And if Vargas throws you a fastball right down the middle, you simply have to take it. But he's thrown so many off speed pitches today in this count. And he throws another one there, and Victor just didn't pull the trigger on that changeup. 2-0.
Vargas right now at 87 pitches. It's been a lengthy half inning for him. And he'll bluff to second base. Collins will get back in there. It all started with back-to-back hits by Gonzalez and Kinsler. Now Perez walks out to the mound to have a chat with Vargas. It's one thing Perez said that he has grown up a little bit on. He said last year he was a little bit tentative in going out and talking to pitchers when there might be some runners on and in sticky spots, but he's taking more a charge this year. Part of the maturation process for a good young catcher. The 2-1. 2-2 now on Victor.
You can understand why he was a little reluctant when you have a staff of guys like Jeremy Guthrie, there's James Shields, Wade Davis, Bruce Chin, a lot of guys that have been around a long time. Maybe a little bit reluctant for a young kid at age 22 last year to go out and talk to those gentlemen when they struggled. but he is considered the premier catcher in the American League. Yadier Molina, of course, overall considered the best catcher in baseball. Perez right behind him.
This time Vargas called Perez out.
Joe Mauer no longer catching for the Minnesota Twins. He is now a first baseman. And, of course, Matt Wieters of the Baltimore Orioles, who the Tigers will see in just a couple of days, also a really good catcher.
You have Perez above Wieters?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I do too. It's going to be odd seeing Mauer play first base exclusively now. Fouled back, and Victor stays alive.
Well, the concussions and some of the injuries that Mauer has had the last couple of years with the contract that he has from the Minnesota Twins, their best bet is to get him out from behind the plate and over to first base so he can get a lot of games played.
Yeah, they need to keep him on the field and keep his bat in the lineup. Perez waiting for Martinez to get into the box before he flashes signals. Two and two on Victor Martinez. And he'll loop another one back out of play as he spoils one back into the seats. Total of 90 for Vargas, 58 of which have been ruled strikes.
Yeah, this is the most stress that Vargas has pitched in all afternoon long.
He struck out the side in the 5th inning, but then was greeted with a couple of hits here in the 6th. And it certainly has been his longest inning. Swing and a miss. He got him a chase. And Martinez is out. Tigers turn back. They strand a pair. The doubleheader as the Twins take on the Indians and the Giants battle the Dodgers. Fox Sports 1 is your home for baseball every Saturday. Back here at Comerica Park on a 50-degree afternoon here at the ball yard today. The Tigers with a slim lead on the visiting Kansas City Royals. Game 2 in this 3-game season opening series. The Tigers have 4 hits. Royals have 3. And Max Scherzer back to work. Max with a total of 5 strikeouts. He got him 1, 2, 3 in the 6th. Eric Hosmer will start things off. The Royals have their 3, 4, and 5 hitters coming up here in the 7th inning. And a strike called on Hosmer. 1 out of 2 today. Single and a fly ball for Hosmer. And there's the ball outside, 1-1. shoot that one straight into center field at Austin Jackson. Hosmer retired, 1 gone in the 7th. Well, if you tuned in early and you saw Max pitching in the first inning, struggling with his control, he walked the leadoff man and really was having Rod a whole lot of trouble throwing strikes. It's amazing how quickly he had gotten things back on track.
And if you're the Royals, you have to be kicking yourself, because when you go up against premium pitchers like a Verlander or a Sanchez or a Scherzer, if they give you an opportunity to get them early, you need to take advantage of it. The Royals didn't do so, and Max has settled in nicely.
Well, maybe one of the biggest decisions early in this game was Billy Butler, who's standing in there right now, swinging on a 3-0 pitch with 2 men on in the first inning, and he bounced into a double play to close out the frame. And Butler, in fact, is into 2 double plays. He lined into a double play his last time up. In there for a strike, breaking ball.
Grounded into 28 double plays last year and already 2 this year, so he's going to be up around that number again. Max's pitch count is in real good shape. Only 82 total thrown.
That'll bounce in and away. 2-2 on Butler.
And first start of the year, most managers like to keep you right around 100 to 105.
Well, the one thing that Brad Ausmus has that many managers in the major leagues do not have is the top 3 that the Tigers throw out there. Verlander, Scherzer. We'll see Sanchez in the finale tomorrow. Chopper left side of the infield. Castellanos spins and throws. Got him at first.
Real nice angle taking by Castellanos to get to this ball. And with Billy Butler running, he knew he had plenty of time once he got it to bounce it over to Miguel, and Miguel could simply make a nice play. He bounced that by design over there, not having the arm strength to get it there all the way on the fly. Nice job by Castellanos.
2 up, 2 down here in the 7th. Alex Gordon singled in the 5th inning. Had a base hit taken away in a diving play by Collins. That was in his first at bat. Gordon last year made his first All-Star team for the Royals. Ball outside, 1-1. Royals last year were 86 and 76, yet they finished 7 games behind the Tigers. 3rd place in the Central. That's fouled away, and there are many that feel that not only will they challenge the Tigers, but they certainly will leapfrog the Cleveland Indians, although the Indians had a really strong spring.
It's going to be all about Kansas City's pitching once again this year. And their offense is going to get better because they have some young kids that are going to mature. But they're going to have to pitch as well as they did last year if they're going to be in the hunt in September in this division.
Ball outside, 2-2.
They had a miserable month of May last year. They were 8-20. And had they not had such a poor month, they would have been in the postseason last year.
The count stays on Gordon. 2 outs. We're in the 7th. Only run today coming on the home run in the 4th inning by Ian Kinsler, his first as a Tiger.
Well, really nothing new for these two clubs when they do hook up to play very close games. And they have done that quite a bit the last number of years.
In the air toward left, Collins coming over toward the foul line. And in fair territory makes the catch. It is a 1-2-3 inning for Max. Stretch time coming up is the 7th inning stretch, brought to you by LaFontaine Automotive Group. of the 2014 season. And this Sunday, the Tigers take on the Orioles at 1:08. It is Kids Opening Day. All kids 14 and under receive a free Miguel Cabrera back-to-back MVP poster. Call 866-66-TIGER for more info or visit tigers.com. Good day to bring kids out. So the Tigers now trying to build on this lead. They won on opening day here in a one-run game, and now they lead 1-0 going to the bottom of the 7th. Hunter leads it off in Jackson, and then Avila facing the lefty Jason Vargas. Well-pitched ball game on both ends today, Scherzer and Vargas. And admittedly, they do it in different ways, but contrasting styles, just about the same results. That's in the air toward left center field, shallow. Gordon comes on, makes a sliding play. Looked like he had it all the way.
And Vargas is 15 of 24 in first pitch strikes today, and really that's one of the reasons why he's been able to maneuver his way through this Tigers offense this afternoon. He gets ahead, then he kind of just goes outside a little further with the fastball. Paul Immel's been very generous, but his changeup has been above average pitch for him today, and he has used it a lot.
Well, it's a good sign for the Royals because they signed him to slot right behind James Shields in their rotation, and he has looked pretty good today. Although there's a line drive, base hit, maybe more. It's going to go to the wall. This means Jackson is off to the races. He's on his way to second. He's going to stop there with a double.
Well, it's a nice job by Austin Jackson. He understands that all afternoon long, Vargas has tried to get ahead of all the right-handed batters with that fastball down and away. He looks out there, he takes the fastball, he whistles it the other way for a stand-up double.
And by the time Aoki was able to get it back in, Jackson had a stand-up two-base hit, his second hit of the season. A double now to go with his triple on opening day. There is action. Kelvin Herrera warming up in the Royals bullpen. Ball one outside. Avila with a strikeout and a walk. Swing and a miss. Vargas has 5 strikeouts in this game. Pitched out of a bit of a jam in the 6th, but now he's got another problem to deal with here. The Jackson double in the 7th. And he's approaching 100 pitches on the afternoon, 96 right now. Strike called on Avila. 1-2. Jammed in that time, and Avila buckles out of the way. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ned Yost in that first game brought Wade Davis to come out of the bullpen after the starter Shields was taken out. They've got Herrera warming up today, and Yost said that he wanted to go with the more veteran guy on opening day. Tigers eventually got to the Royals bullpen. Fouled straight back, but it is no easy chore once the starter comes out of the game for the Royals.
Well, if you're Dave Clark, who is the new third base coach, you have to be well aware of the fact that they've got some guys in the outfield that can really throw. And we've well documented the arm strength of the left fielder, Alex Gordon. 17 assists last year. Aoki in right field playing for the Milwaukee Brewers. He had 9 assists. And Kane also has a good throwing arm, so it's going to be imperative for Jackson to get a good jump if Clark's going to score him. Speaking of Dave Clark, do you see where he is standing? Coaching third base.
We'll shake hands with Avila. well out of the coaching box. And explain the reason for that, Rod.
Well, it gives you an idea of whether you can send the runner home or not. I mean, by him being where he is, and even on the base hit, he'll even get closer down toward home plate, and it gives him a good look to see if the outfielder has made a clean play. And if he's made a clean play, it gives him the decision of whether he wants to send the base runner or not. It just gives you a much longer look to allow the play to develop where he's standing right now.
3-2 is swung on and missed, and Avila goes down swinging. 6 strikeouts now for the left-hander Vargas. Here's our Subway box score. And Ian Kinsler in his second game as a Tiger has his first home run. He has a couple of hits today, but there really aren't too many hits anywhere in the box score today for both teams. Jackson has just doubled. He is still standing at second base. Here's Castellanos trying to drive in a 2-out run.
Out of all the guys in the Tigers starting lineup today, Kinsler is the guy that has seen Vargas the most. So he had quite a few at-bats against Jason Vargas when he was playing for Texas. And, of course, Vargas was pitching for Seattle.
And the Angels of the West. Here's the 0-1. Ball high, 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, Castellanos had a big hit late on opening day, singling in the 9th inning to set up the winning run. And Nick right now trying to deliver an insurance run here for Detroit. One and 2. So Vargas now is up over 100. He's at 104. Castellanos today fly out and a strikeout. Bouncing in Perez with a nifty block. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Little pop up, back is short. Escobar calling on the grass, and that is that for Detroit. They will get a 1-out double, strand a man. To the 7th we go, or the 8th we go. One nothing as we go to the top of the 8th inning. Ian Kinsler with a solo home run in the 4th inning. His first as a Tiger, and well, so far it's held up. Max Scherzer only 2 runners allowed since the start of the 2nd inning. And how about the job the Tigers have done at the bottom of the lineup for the Royals?
Yeah, their 7 through 9 hitters just 1 for 17 so far in the series.
So Vargas awfully good today through 106 total pitches, struck out 6. And now here come the Royals as we go to the 8th. Salvador Perez will lead things off. Perez, then Moustakas and Lorenzo Cain. 1 run, 5 hits for Detroit. No runs, 3 hits for Kansas City. And Max is able to go out there in the 8th inning because his pitch count has been in great shape all day long. That'll go foul down the third base line.
Yeah, you must want to keep Perez off the base paths. And that will keep Gerard Dyson on their bench, who's an outstanding base stealer. Even though Perez is an outstanding catcher, Ned Yost would probably pinch run for him here in the 8th inning.
It's a pretty good weapon to have on your bench, a guy that you know can steal a bag when you need it.
Well, we've watched the last couple of World Series champions have that weapon on their bench, and guys have come in and stolen some huge bases late in the postseason.
The 0-2. I think all managers, if they had their choice, and sometimes it's just not doable based on how much money you're spending on your roster, but I think most managers would like to have a guy that can steal a base on their bench and a guy that can hit the ball out of the ballpark.
I think they'd like to have that guy that can hit it out of the ballpark.
1-2 is lined toward left center field. That's going to get down. Perez is on again. This is going to be extra bases. He'll get to second base with a leadoff double here in the 8th.
Max would love to have that pitch back. He tried to get it down and away, but he didn't get it down far enough. And we talked about Perez and the bat range that he has on fastballs and breaking balls. And he goes down and gets a changeup that is off the plate outside about 8 inches. And with that long wingspan, hit a rocket. I mean a rocket in the left center field for a stands-up double. And there is Gerard Dyson now standing on second base.
So Perez gets the high fives from his teammates. Gerard Dyson will pinch run at second base, and he represents the tying run.
He just creates all kinds of problems now for Max because he's not afraid to steal third base, which means he's going to preoccupy some of Max's attention here.
And Scherzer missing outside to Mike Moustakas. That is only the 4th hit the Royals have picked up in this game.
Dyson, as a matter of fact, is 11 of 12 in his career in stealing third base. And if Moustakas doesn't get him over there, he'll be trying to steal when Lorenzo Cain steps into that batter's box.
Moustakas has hit the ball in the air twice, flying out to left fielder Tyler Collins. Last year, the Royals won the season series 10-9 over the Tigers, and it was the first time the Tigers had lost the season series to KC since 2008. Tigers got a jump on them this year, though, winning opening day. Fouled away.
The Tigers, you know, they kind of have the same kind of weapons now that the Royals have had the last number of years. They have more speed. I mean, they have Kendra who can steal a base. They have Davis who can steal a base. Austin Jackson will steal a lot more bases this year. So they now can put this same type of pressure and preoccupy the pitcher's attention, just like Dyson's doing right now with Scherzer standing on second base, even though it's a left-hander in the batter's box. Good pitch.
Swing and a miss. 1-2.
The changeup by Max. Swung right over the top of by Moustakas.
So Moustakas stays alive, but barely. Lorenzo Cain will hit next. Albuquerque has been warming up in the Detroit bullpen. He continues to do so.
He pitched on Monday afternoon, pitched 1 inning, and gave up 1 hit.
Tigers did a real nice job late in that game. And their bullpen worked out nicely. Reed, Albuquerque, and then Joe Nathan. Flared back out of play.
I like the idea they're climbing the ladder with the fastball at 94. Moustakas just got a piece of it. If you decide to throw that pitch again, if you get it up about 2 inches more than that last offering, you can get yourself a swing and miss here, which is exactly what Max would like to do.
This will be the 100th pitch of the afternoon from Max Scherzer. And he missed outside. Off speed, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the breakdown through a total of 100 for Max.
Max really hasn't pitched in a whole lot of stress today either. In the first inning, there was a little bit of stress, but now here in the 8th, they're a runner in scoring position with nobody out. 2-2 count on Moustakas.
Swing and a miss. Down he goes. 6 of them now for Max in the strikeout column.
Max fearless with the changeup here today. You can see it in his hand. That's the circle changeup, and he's been fearless with it today against the right-handers and the left-handers. And look how the ball just kind of tumbles out of his hand and fades down away from the left-hander.
Great pitch.
Well, now he's going to have to use the spin move because Dyson is going to try to steal third base. And if Dyson gets too aggressive, Max might get himself a pickoff.
This time Dyson heading back to the bag. Dyson came on a pinch run for Salvador Perez, who started the inning with a 2-base hit. He represents the tying run in a 1-0 game.
The thing about Dyson at second base, he's so fast, is that he really doesn't have to get a good jump to steal the base successfully.
But blocked by Avila. 2 balls and no strikes now on Kane. Scherzer doing his best to maintain his focus on the hitter, but it's awfully difficult when you have a weapon like Dyson at second base, especially in a 1-0 game.
And now Kane's got himself in a real good fastball count. 2 balls, no strikes.
And he fouled it back. 2-1 on Lorenzo Cain. Right now Scherzer dealing with the bottom of the lineup that we just illustrated a couple of moments ago. The Tigers have had good success against so far in the series.
Seven through 9 hitters for the Royals in the series, 1 for 18.
And they are 0 for 7 in this game. Albuquerque has company as lefty Ian Kroll is quickly warming up. Ball inside. 3-1 on Kane. We've got Escobar waiting on deck.
Also a decision to be made by Brad Ausmus on how far he stretches Max today. He's already at 105.
Here's the 3-1 pitch. Fouled away. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Aoki would be after Escobar. And he is a left-handed batter.
Who Kroll's getting ready for.
Yeah, so that's why Kroll is tuning up in the bullpen, along with Albuquerque. Jason Vargas has done all he can to keep his team in this game today, giving up just the 1 run. And the 3-2. Got him, strike 3.
Look out, Maxwell.
Kane doesn't like it as he walks back to the bench. 7 strikeouts for Max.
It's a breaking ball here that kind of backs up on Max. It's not the traditional breaking ball that breaks down and away. It stayed up and in against Kane, and it froze Kane. He couldn't pull the trigger. Real nice looking phantom cam.
Meanwhile, Brad Ausmus has made his way out to the mound. And he's going to stick with Max.
Well, Brad simply went out there to talk to Max. He's at 107. He wanted to see if he had one more hitter in him. And if he had the one more hitter in him, which he told his manager he did, he could have him.
Meanwhile, Albuquerque and Kroll still heating up. Well, you just knew Max was not going to come out of this game if given the choice.
Well, be careful here with the first pitch fastball to Escobar. And it really doesn't have to be a strike. He loves to hunt the fastball on first pitches, and that's where he does some of the damage that he's been able to do in the league.
So the Tigers lead 1-0, 2 outs. Tying run remains at second base. Escobar in the game is 0 for 2. Pop up and a strikeout. Ball inside, 1-0. So Scherzer facing his final batter here, trying to preserve the 1-0 lead. He's given up just 4 hits in this game. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike. In the air, right field. Should get him out of the inning. Hunter is under it. Max Scherzer gives up a leadoff double and then slams the door. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Tigers still have a 1-0 lead. The eighth inning, Royals had a golden opportunity. Leadoff double by Salvador Perez. They brought in the pinch runner, and then the Tigers got out of it.
Perez is a dangerous hitter. There's no doubt about that. But changeups too also. Moustakas to strike him out. Kane, and the call Sam of the game delivered by Brad Ausmus to leave Max Scherzer in to get the final out of the eighth inning, and Max does just that.
So Scherzer gives up the leadoff two-base hit, gets 2 strikeouts and a flyout, and nothing but high fives. He was fired up walking off the field as well. And talking with his battery mate, 110 pitches on the day for Scherzer. He'll go 8 this afternoon with 1 walk and 7 Ks. Very Scherzer-esque start to this season for Max. And here's a wall-side windows pitching change. Kelvin Herrera, the hard-throwing Herrera, is in.
Now, he's got a fastball that will go anywhere from 97 to 100 miles an hour. Also a real good slider. You could see 11.4 strikeouts per 9 innings last year for Herrera, part of that outstanding bullpen in 2013.
Number 9 hitter Alex Gonzalez leads it off. Tigers would love to get a run or two here. Pad the lead a little bit. Alex Gonzalez, a single and a fly ball. Kelvin Herrera, part of a bullpen last year that was the best in the American League. Herrera, one of their key parts. Their pen had a 2.55 ERA last year to lead the league, and opponents hit just .217 against them. Fouled away again, and the count stays 0-2 on Gonzalez. Kinsler, then Collins to follow here in the Tigers' 8th inning. Just off the plate as Gonzalez watches it into the glove of the catcher Brett Hayes. Herrera, a native of the Dominican Republic, missed it low and away. '59 appearances last year, 76 appearances out of the bullpen the year before that. Driven center field, playable. Kane runs it down. 1 gone. Hey, you can follow the Detroit Tigers with MLB.com at bat for your iPhone, iPad, Android, BlackBerry 10, or Windows Phone 8. Get scores, stats, highlights, live audio, and a whole lot more. Simply text at bat to 31826 or visit Tigers.com for more details. Kinsler, responsible for the game's only run, the solo homer in the 4th. 2 out of 3 today. Also had a single in his last at bat. Kinsler also had a good spring camp, hit .300, hit 3 homers down in Lakeland. Checked it. Went around 2-1. Paul Emmel didn't need any help. Home plate umpire made that call. 2 balls, 1 strike. 2 teams wrap it up tomorrow. Sanchez and Ventura. That'll get fouled back out of play. 2-2 now on Ian. For the Royals, when we get to the 9th inning, they will have the top of their lineup. They're going to have to deal with the Tigers closer. Two and 2 on Kinsler. That one was sprayed to shallow right field, heading toward foul ground. Then it drops harmlessly out of the reach of Aoki. Hey, while we have a chance, let's check in with Shannon Hogan. She's got an update on what's coming up on Tigers Live postgame.
Yeah, we got a great Tigers Live postgame for you. Hopefully the Tigers win. I'll be talking with Ian Kinsler right after the game here on the field. Then I'll head into the clubhouse to talk with Brad Ausmus and, of course, Max Scherzer. Simo and Mickey York holding down the Coliseum studio. You're not going to want to miss Tigers Live right after the game, guys.
Did you pay for that seat, Shannon?
No, I didn't. I sneaky sat here. Don't tell anybody.
I won't.
It's in the sun. It's delightful.
We look forward to seeing you from the clubhouse after the game. That has popped up. And heading back toward the seats. Will it stay in play? It does. Brett Hayes hauls it in for the out. 2 gone. The Tigers closer Joe Nathan is heating up in the bullpen.
Joe Nathan got the win on opening day, courtesy of the walk-off hit by Alex Gonzalez in the bottom half of the 9th inning against the Royals closer Greg Holland.
Well, if the Tigers fail to get anything going here in the 8th, it'll be the slimmest of margins that the right-hander Nathan will have to try and close down. Tyler Collins 0 for 3 in his Tigers debut as a starter. Came on a pinch run opening day, scored the winning run. Wave and a miss. 0-2.
Said Brett Ausmus didn't tell him that he had made the team until after the rainout in Washington, D.C. just a few days ago. So he and Ian Kroll and also Evan Reed, they didn't know till very late that they were going to be on the team.
Well, you talk about pins and needles.
Well, it's almost like you kind of knew you're on the squad,
yeah.
But until he actually says something,
you don't believe it.
You don't believe it.
Well, Collins as excited as you can possibly be to be in his first big league team. Had a big year last year with 21 home runs at AA. He fouls that one away. 1-2 the count on Tyler.
The Tigers like his maturity, even though he only played in AA last year. They like his intensity. They like his confidence. They like the fact that he can play all 3 outfield positions. He can steal you a base. And he's got some pop in that bat, too.
2-2 the count. He was a 6th round pick of the Tigers in 2011 out of Howard College in Texas. Career minor league numbers 36 long balls. Swing and a miss. Down he goes. And Herrera has a 1-2-3-8. Bring on the closer. We go to the 9th. Last call here for the Royals. We go to the ninth. It is time now for the Jimmy John's freaky fast delivery of the game after a leadoff double. The Tigers bullpen and Max Scherzer, I should say, went to work without the bullpen's help.
Well, back-to-back strikeouts of Moustakas and also Kane. And then he threw a fastball that was riding in on Alcides Escobar, the number 9 hitter. And he flew out harmlessly to Torrey Hunter in right field. So nice job by Max. 8 innings, no runs surrendered today by the Cy Young Award winner.
Wall-side windows pitching change. Joe Nathan's career numbers look like this.
341 career saves, which is the most of all active pitchers.
And he'll have to deal with the top of the Royals lineup, Aoki, Infante, and Hosmer, in a 1-0 ball game as we enter the ninth. Aoki has seen Nathan twice in his career, 0 for 2 against him. And a ball high, 1-0. Walk, strikeout, ground out for Nori Aoki. Driven on a line to right field and caught by Torrey Hunter. 1 out.
Torrey Hunter has done a lot of that for Joe Nathan over the years. Both of them got pretty much their names established by playing for the Minnesota Twins. Nathan, a closer, and of course Torrey Hunter, a 9-time Gold Glove winner.
Here's Omar Infante. Boy, look at these career numbers against Nathan. 0 for 9 with 3 strikeouts. Nathan was a terror against Tigers hitters as a closer for both Texas and mostly with the Minnesota Twins. And Omar shows bunt, looks at a strike, didn't particularly care for the call of Paul Emmel.
Nathan's career numbers pretty good against the Kansas City Royals as well.
The 0-1. Tried to hold up. Didn't appear that he did. Strike 2 is called.
Nice slide piece there thrown by Nathan. Nathan, not like most closers who pretty much have one signature pitch. He has all 4 pitches. Fastball, slider, curve, and the changeup, and he'll use all of them. Going to go back outside with another slider.
Right back up the middle and into center field, base hit.
Didn't get that one down quite to the bottom of the strike zone as he did on the previous pitch.
So the tying run is on.
And nice piece of hitting there by Omar Infante.
Pedro Siriaco will come on a pinch run for Infante. So here is the number 3 hitter, Eric Hosmer. His only hit today was a single back in the 4th inning. Ball low to the left-handed batting Hosmer. Joe Nathan, a 6-time All-Star. Last 2 years with Texas, and he did it 4 times with Minnesota. Way inside, and the count goes 2-0.
80 combined saves the last 2 years for Nathan. And 37 a couple of years ago, followed up by 43 last year in a Rangers uniform.
And these are the ones that you really have to earn your money for, because protecting a 1-run lead facing the top of the lineup here in the 9th inning.
Yeah, be careful here if you throw Hosmer a fastball.
There goes the runner. Here comes Avila's throw, going to bounce in, tag, not in time.
There are a lot of managers that will not give the green light to their base runners in a 2-0 count when the hitter is going to get a fastball, because fastballs are easier to throw guys out. But Siriaco gets a real good jump. Avila doesn't make a particularly strong throw. And by the time Gonzalez is able to pick it off the turf, he's sliding in head first safe.
Meanwhile, the count goes 3-0 now on Eric Hosmer. Got Billy Butler on deck, so Nathan going to have to navigate through the middle of this Royals lineup. He'll look at a strike, 3-1. Not too many scoring opportunities for Kansas City in this game. They had a big one in the first inning with men at the corners but could not score. Max Scherzer pretty much shut them down most of the day. And again, that leadoff double in the 8th, but they failed to get him home. And he walked him, and so put Hosmer on now, first and second. You've talked about this a lot today, Rob, but you get these two teams together, it's going to be a tight one.
And games decided by 2 runs or fewer. 36 times since 2011. These two teams have hooked up in that fashion. That's the most in all of baseball.
It's pretty incredible. Got another 1-run game going on right now here as we check out the career numbers for Billy Butler against Joe Nathan. 6 for 13.
He wouldn't hit into his 3rd double play of the game, though, would he?
He sure would. Right here, right now. He bounced into one in the 1st, lined into one in the 4th. Ball low. Bouncing in. Avila has to locate it. 1-0. Nathan pitched in the opener. He pitched the 9th inning and ended up getting the win. He threw a 1-2-3 9. Butler now 1 for 7 in the opening series of the season. Tigers need a ground ball here. Strike called, outer edge, 1-1.
Billy Butler not real happy with that slider called a strike by Paul Emmel, but Paul Emmel's been pretty generous on the outside part of the plate all day long. Jason Vargas, the starter for the Kansas City Royals, made a living on the outside corner today.
Here's the 1-1. 2 balls and 1 strike. What a way for Brad Ausmus to break in. Got his first managerial victory on opening day, and now he's biting his nails through a 1-0 contest here in the 9th. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Strike called, and Butler again disagrees with Paul Emmel. Well, he didn't like that one at all. Well, Mr. Foxtrack says he may have a beef.
Yep.
So Nathan back in the count now. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Just off the plate. Butler watched it sail by, and now it's 3-2.
Well, if you're Ned Yost and the fact that Billy Butler hits into a ton of double plays, you might just entertain the thought of starting your runners in this particular situation.
Ciriaco is at second, Hosmer at first. Three-two pitch. Bouncing ball toward third base. Foul outside of the bag.
I don't know if someone missed a sign there or not, but Gordon on first base, he took about 3-4 hard steps towards second, but Ciriaco did not vacate second base. Therefore, Hosmer had to put the brakes on. I think they are running now, and they made sure they told Ciriaco that they were running.
Hosmer almost pulled a hammy there trying to stop.
Hosmer had it correct. Ciriaco did not.
So once again, a 3-2 is upcoming to Billy Butler. And now the runners go, and it's fouled straight back. So this battle continues between Butler and Nathan. Eighth pitch of this at bat coming up. We showed you the good numbers that Butler has had in his career against Joe. Crowd of better than 26,000, almost 27,000 in attendance today, trying to help the Tigers out here. Nathan, a deep breath. Runners go. And he lost it, ball four. That's going to load the bases with Royals. So Nathan gives up a single, a steal, 2 walks. And now he's got to deal with the number 5 hitter, Alex Gordon. And so far an 18-pitch inning for Joe Nathan. He is Gordon 3 for 11 against Nathan. Got another pinch runner at first base. Justin Maxwell now will run for Butler. Ned Yost has emptied his bench. Now Gordon, who is 1 for 3. Ball one outside. And this next one will be Nathan's 20th pitch of the inning. Fly ball in the air toward left field. Collins backing up. Ciriaco tags at third. He will come in to score. It's a sac fly and an RBI for Alex Gordon, and it's a 1-1 ball game. So Nathan will get a blown save today. The Royals get a run here in the 9th. They are still batting now with 2 outs. And here's the first at bat of the day for Brett Hayes, who came on after they pinch ran for the catcher Perez. And he will try and give his team the lead. And that's going to be a balk. Nathan could not deliver the baseball. I don't know if he lost his footing, but that'll move the runners up.
Hasn't been a good inning for Nathan.
And Kevin Rand's going to come out and take a look at him. Didn't look like he caught his cleats or anything. He just stopped mid-delivery, so the balk was called. And Kevin Rand is shooed away by Nathan. Says he's all right. This inning would not be falling under the clean category.
No, it would not.
And now the Royals with runners at second and third as Ian Kroll continues to heat up. You got Moustakas waiting on deck. There's a strike on Brett Hayes, who spent most of the year last year at AAA Omaha, where he batted .233. But he showed some power, 17 homers. Big league time with Florida. Now the Miami Marlins. And some time last year with the Royals as well. There's a one-hopper hit to second. Flag down there by Kinsler, and he'll throw him out to end the inning. They will settle for one run, but they tie it up. Here come the Tigers in the bottom of the ninth. Bank, a part of Detroit and the community since 1849. Your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDetroit.com. See why Chevy drives the Motor City. And by Wallside Windows, the official window company of Fox Sports Detroit. Max Scherzer today, Ron, was awfully good. He will get a no decision, but still pretty good.
Only one walk, and that was to the very first batter of the game. Settled in nicely and racked up 7 strikeouts, just 4 hits in 8 innings thrown today by Max Scherzer.
New pitcher now is Wade Davis for the Royals.
Didn't pitch all that well on Monday afternoon. A couple of base on balls. Gave up 1 run, which was earned on 1 hit, no strikeouts. He's got a fastball that will go from 91 to 94. Also likes to cut the fastball, and also has a nice slider that he throws along with the changeup.
So here is the big fella, Miguel Cabrera, who career against Wade Davis is 6 for 17 with a couple of homers.
Curveball for Davis. Check that. No slider. It's a curveball.
Big rip there by Miguel, 0-1.
And first pitch fastball, 94 to Miguel Cabrera. Here it is, hit it.
Tigers had a walk-off win on Monday. What say we do it again here today?
Miggy is in scoring position as we speak.
Here's the 0-1. Fouled off, 0-2. Cabrera today is 0 for 3. Had a double on opening day. Wade Davis, former Tampa Bay Ray. Fouled back out of play.
2 years ago, Davis was lights out in the bullpen for the Tampa Bay Rays, but when the Royals acquired him before the start of last season, they put him back in the rotation. He did not fare very well. Went back to the bullpen where he excelled again, and now finds himself as the 8th inning guy, getting the ball to their closer, Greg Holland, on a nightly basis.
And Cabrera goes down swinging. So far, so good for that Royals bullpen. Herrera had a 3-up, 3-down to the 8th.
And a real nice breaking ball there thrown by Wade Davis.
Davis out of Lake Wales, Florida. That's where he was born. 28 years old, and now Victor Martinez will stand in.
That last pitch to Miguel was an 89-mile-per-hour cut fastball that had a lot of action on it.
Victor 5 out of 19 career against Davis. Ball 1. Numbers are identical on the scoreboard. 1 run, 5 hits, no errors for both sides. Victor today 1 out of 3, a single his middle at bat. And the count is 1-1. One and two. Victor behind in the count. (31 appearances last year with the Royals, 24 as a starter for Wade Davis. But he had the big season out of the bullpen 2 years ago with Tampa. Here's the 1-2. Bouncing in, 2 balls, 2 strikes. You brought up the fact yesterday, or Monday I should say, Rod, that they are without Luke Hochevar, and he certainly is a big part of their bullpen, or was last year.
Hochevar underwent Tommy John surgery in spring training. 70 innings thrown last year for Luke, who found a home in the bullpen, but they're going to have to find a way to get somebody to step up to eat up those innings that Hochevar was eating up last year. And they feel like Davis will be that guy.
3-2. Davis's first year in the big leagues, 2009 with Tampa. A couple of pretty good seasons as a starter there. Won 12 games in 2011.
He does not want to walk Victor Martinez. If he does, then he'll have to deal with Rajai Davis, the pinch runner. And Rajai Davis has the ability to steal a bag and get himself in the scoring position.
Bouncing ball right side. Gobbled up there by Siriaco. And there are 2 gone now. It's going to be up to Torrey Hunter. Otherwise, we have bonus frames today. Torrey 0 for 3. Fly balls every at bat so far today. That's low. 1 ball, no strikes. We're talking about some of these superlatives for the Royals bullpen last year. Opponents hit just .217 against them. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Of course, it's always a key, Rod, to have your starters go fairly deep into games, because if you go too far or too long with that bullpen, those numbers are not likely to repeat themselves.
And that's why they were so successful last year. The new additions made by Dayton Moore, their general manager, to the starting rotation, allowed Ned Yost to really rest that bullpen on a number of days, and that's why they all stayed fresh during the course of the regular season, and that's why they performed very well.
Well, the entire staff for the Royals last season was 3.45. Here's the 2-1. That's in the air. Shallow right field. Siriaco is back. And it's going to be a 1-2-3 inning for Wade Davis, which means we go extra innings today.
A lot of runs scored in this contest. Ian Kinsler got the Tigers on the board, got a hanging breaking ball against their starter Jason Vargas in the fourth, which put the Tigers on the board. Joe Nathan looking for his first career save as a Tiger. Didn't fare so well. Gave up a base hit, a stolen base after a couple of walks. Alex Gordon came to the plate with a runner on third, less than 2 outs to tie the score. Siriaco, who was a pinch runner for Omar Infante, was able to score the run.
So as we go to the 10th inning, it is a 1-1 ball game, each side with a run on 5 hits. Royals tied it up in the top of the 9th, and Monday Albuquerque threw 13 pitches, 10 strikes. Mike Moustakas leads it off against Albuquerque. Kane and then Escobar to follow 7, 8, 9 in the lineup for the Royals.
Albuquerque's got 2 pitches. He's got a fastball that will go from 92 all the way to 97. And he's got that wipeout slider that he throws at a couple of different speeds and a couple of different breaks. One for a get me over strike, the other for a strikeout.
Minimal history between these two. Moustakas 0 for 3 career against the right-hander Albuquerque.
And we watched some teams down the stretch last year against Albuquerque because he throws so many sliders. And as a hitter, you can't hit it anyway. A lot of teams started to take that slider from Albuquerque, so he's been encouraged this spring by Jeff Jones, the pitching coach, and Brad Ausmus, the manager, to throw more fastballs. I mean, you got 95 in your back pocket. That's good enough to get big league hitters out. Then you get ahead, then you go to your out pitch, which is the slider.
Now 2-2 on Moustakas.
He is so comfortable throwing the slider. We watched Albuquerque the last couple of years fall behind hitters, 3 balls, no strikes, and throw a slider.
Yeah, and that pitch has produced a lot of strikeouts for him. 73 strikeouts in 49 innings in 2013. That is skied in the air to center field and right at Austin Jackson. 1 out. That'll bring up Lorenzo Cain. Well, Brad Ausmus said before the game today he was queried about how he used his bullpen in game 1, and he said, you know, look, we're still trying to figure out how these pieces all fit together. Who's going to pitch the 7th? Who's going to pitch the 8th? What lefty will I go to? And I would imagine that's probably going to take, I don't know, a couple of weeks to sort out, a month to sort out.
It really is. When Bruce Rondon went down with the injury, I mean, that meant that he had to somehow find somebody who could take over the 8th inning and get the ball to Nathan.
There's a chopper to short, and Gonzalez has that one. And his throw is off target. Safe at first base is Cain.
I took a look at Gonzalez, and I took a quick look at Cain, and even if that throw would have been on the money, it looked like Cain would have beat it out.
And it looked like a routine ground ball, but Cain can run.
And Gonzalez probably should have charged that ball a little bit more aggressively, and he has the ability to do so, and he probably would have had an opportunity to throw Cain out.
It is ruled a base hit, the 6th hit of the game for the Royals. Here is Alcides Escobar.
Royals will gamble. They will attempt to steal a base against this combination of Albuquerque and Avila.
Escobar career is 0 for 5 against the right-hander Albuquerque.
He has the ability to bunt for a base hit. He might be entertaining the thought of doing that with Castellanos playing a step behind the third base bag.
Runner goes, big jump too, and it's fouled straight back.
I don't know if that was a hit and run or not, but if it wasn't the hit and run, then Escobar should have taken that pitch because Cain was going to steal that bag.
I don't think it was a hit and run.
I mean, he's got 7 steps under his belt, and you know the hitter, Escobar, can see him out of the corner of his eye. He can see Cain running, and he could have seen the jump that Cain had, but he elected to swing anyway.
Tigers catch a break there. That would have been an easy stolen base for Lorenzo Cain.
Yeah, maybe you want to pitch out here if they're going to tip their hand and be that aggressive.
Runner holds this time, and it's lined down the right field line. Torrey is on the run, and it's going to go foul. So it's 0-2 now on Escobar. Alcides in this game is 0 for 3. Tigers led 1-0. Home run by Kinsler back in the 4th, and that lead held up until the Royals got one in the 9th to tie it up off Joe Nathan. And now they're trying to go ahead here in the 10th inning. There goes the runner. In the air, right field, straight at Torrey. Kane's going to have to get back quickly. Here comes the throw to first. Not going to be in time. 2 gone. So that'll bring up the top of the order now. Nori Aoki. Who had a base on balls in his first at bat, but otherwise today is 0 for 3. And these two have not met yet, so this will be the first meeting between Aoki and Albuquerque. And the toss back to first. We told you earlier that Aoki in Japanese translates as blue tree. Albuquerque translates as city in New Mexico. Runner goes. Here comes the throw to second, and it is not in time. Stolen base.
Well, the Royals led the American League in stolen bases last year, and they're probably going to be toward the top once again. A real good jump by Lorenzo Cain. Outstanding throw by Avila, grabbed by Gonzalez. Tag applied, but not before the left hand gets in there.
Awfully close play at second base. Good shot there to see that he just got in there.
Good throw by Avila.
Yeah, no doubt. So now Aoki has a chance. Put his team on top. Ooh, that's a huge swing by the little guy, Aoki.
We saw Verlander yesterday throw Aoki quite a few changeups that he about screwed himself into the ground on similar type swings.
Albuquerque ready with the 0-2. Little number right back of the mound. And safe at first base. Aoki beat it out. He tumbles at the bag. And there will be runners at first and third. And base hit. Kevin Rand coming out.
He stepped on Miggy's foot.
That's what it was.
Close play.
Really close play.
Brad Ausmus could challenge again if he wanted to. He had a challenge earlier in this contest, which he won, which means he still could challenge again if he feels like Aoki was out.
And he's using this time right now to figure out whether or not he wants to challenge. But that was really close at first. He may be out. And as Kevin Rand looks at Cabrera, Ausmus will walk down and have a chat with Chris Conroy, the first base umpire. Miggy appears to be okay. I mean, he's going to walk it off. Kevin Rand will depart the scene, but walking gingerly. And he's going to challenge, it appears. You know, Brad might be 2 for 2 because that last replay we saw at least seemed to indicate he was out. Ball in glove now.
Yeah, he's going to win this one too.
He sure is. So we will get the second challenge here from Brad Ausmus. Keep in mind he gets a second challenge because he was right on his first one. And they got a call overturned. The first challenge took a little bit under 3 minutes to decide, the first replay challenge. And again, they're looking at it now at the command center in New York. So none of these umpires here at the ballpark are looking at a replay. This is all being done out of New York. And they're just waiting on the word.
And if they took a look at that last shot that we showed them, which they have said they will do, then we may see another one overturned here today.
Out. That one didn't take long. Oh, how about that? And that's it for the Royals. So the Tigers 2 for 2, and Brad Ausmus smiling as he wins another challenge. Bang, bang play. Out at first base. Play should be a really good one tomorrow. You got Sanchez and Ventura.
We've heard some great things about Ventura. He's got a fastball that will top out at 102 miles an hour. And that will be on display tomorrow afternoon against the Tigers offense. And, of course, all Sanchez did last year was go 14-8 with a 2.57 ERA. That ERA was the best in the American League.
Good matchup tomorrow for the series finale. Meanwhile, the Royals dip back into the bullpen. Tim Collins will take over.
Collins got some good stuff, although the ERA elevated last year over 3.5 in 66 games. He's got a fastball that will get up to 95 miles an hour, but his best pitch might be that big overhand curveball that he throws that he gets a lot of depth on.
Tigers have 6, 7, and 8 coming up. It'll be Jackson followed by Avila and Castellanos facing Collins. And the first pitch is high to start things off here in the bottom of the 10th inning. 1-1 ball game. Collins now in his 4th season with the Kansas City Royals, pitching out of their bullpen. Missed outside. 2-0. Did his best work after the All-Star break last year. 1.35 ERA. And Jackson looks at ball 3 to start things off here in the 10th. Both starting pitchers here this afternoon were really good. Vargas for KC, Scherzer for the Tigers. There's a strike in the outer edge. Fouled away, make it 3-2. Collins is 5 strikeouts shy of taking over the top spot in team history of strikeouts for lefties in Royals history.
Really?
How about that? I had no idea that he was that close.
Is that lefties in the bullpen? Or?
Yeah, it's got to be bullpen relievers. Steve Mingori, a name from the past, tops that list. Inside, he lost him. Jackson aboard with a leadoff walk. Winning run is on for Detroit. Here's Vila.
1 sack bunt all last year for Avila. But against the left-hander here, it might be in play with nobody out, and Jackson being the winning run. The Royals aren't looking for a bunt here from Avila. Moustakas, the third baseman, is 15 feet off the third baseline.
Avila with the throw to first shows bunt. We'll see if that'll move Moustakas at all. There's action. Aaron Crow in the KC pen.
Moustakas still not buying the fact that Avila is bunting here. Little game of cat and mouse going on here. Collins has thrown over to first base a couple of times. Not a good pickoff, but he just wants to see whether Avila would tip, whether he is bunting or not. And basically, on both of the throwovers to first base, Avila came up on the bat with the hand showing that he is bunting. But that doesn't mean he is.
Right. Could he be bluffing? He is bunting, and he drops it down. Collins comes off to make the play. So the sacrifice works. Nicely done by Alex. Winning run now in scoring position.
Real nice technique here by Avila. You can see that he gets the bat out in front. He makes contact with the ball in front of the plate, which keeps the ball fair. And he was able to deaden it. And even though Collins jumped off the mound, Jackson with speed. No play at second.
Is that the key there when you sacrifice? Keep that bat in front of the plate?
Yes, you want to keep it out in front to make sure that you can at least get the ball in fair territory. You don't want to stab at it. You want to hold it out there just the same way that Avila did there.
Castellanos. He is 0 for 3 today after picking up 2 hits in his first game on opening day. Tigers today 0 for 5 with men in scoring position. Time to change that. And the 1-0. 2 balls, no strikes on Nick.
Told you that Collins has that fastball that will get up to 95 miles an hour. The curveball is a tremendous pitch for the little left-hander, but he also will throw you a changeup as well.
Ooh, big swing there by Castellanos. 2-1.
And you get a free one. He knew he was going to get a fastball, and he was not going to be late on that fastball, even though it was out of the strike zone. Couldn't hold up his swing.
Collins follows Davis, who followed Herrera. Now time called. Castellanos waiting too long is given time by Paul Emmel at home plate. Leadoff walk to Jackson. He's been sacrificed to second base by Avila. Outside, 3-1 on Nick Castellanos. Alex Gonzalez waiting on deck. Dave Clark still way out of that coaching box at third base. Getting a good long look, and Castellanos drives the ball to the outfield. He will shoot this one in the air, but it's going to go foul down the right field line.
You saw Dave Clark motioning to Austin Jackson with both arms wide open. Get a bigger jump. Take a look at your outfielders. Get a big secondary lead. Directing traffic right now. Take a look at your outfielders and then get a good secondary lead. Make sure you know where everyone's playing.
Dave has come to see as one of the more demonstrative third base coaches out there.
He has fun out there.
3-2 coming from Collins. Here it is. And he walked him. 2 walks in the inning for Collins. First and second now with 1 out. Gonzalez is coming up. He had a big day on Monday.
He tripled earlier in the game in the 7th inning, and then in the 9th inning he came up with a runner on third base, less than 2 outs against their closer, Greg Holland, and got himself a base hit that Alcides Escobar, their shortstop, couldn't snare. Tyler Collins scored the winning run.
Will there be another celebration here today in the bottom of the 10th?
If you're Austin Jackson here, you know that Collins has that real good curveball, and when he does throw that curveball, usually he bounces it. And so if he does throw one and he happens to bounce it, if you're Jackson, you need to be ready to make sure that you can get yourself over to third base. And if you're Castellanos, you also have to be aware of that fact.
So Gonzalez 1 for 3 today, stands in, trying to win it here for the Tigers. And he looks at a strike, 0-1. Singled back in the 6th inning. 3 hits on the young season for the veteran Alex Gonzalez, who has over 1,600 games of major league experience.
Jackson got a huge lead out at second base. It's one of the things that Jackson has not done a lot of in his big league career, and that is steal third base. But he has the speed to do it.
Who fouled off the mask of the catcher, Hayes. And quickly 0-2 now on Gonzalez. Ian Kinsler waiting on deck. Tigers led 1-0 most of the afternoon. Royals tied it up with a run in the 9th inning. Gene Lamont going over some numbers with Brad Ausmus. And he stays alive. One of the things that Ausmus said about letting Gonzalez hit in the opener with a chance to win the game was he loved his experience and the fact that he was an older player that's been around a while, and he came through. He's got a shot again here today. Tigers have not gone to the bench yet. And he pops this one up to the grass in shallow left. Escobar under it. And out number 2 is Gonzalez. So now it's Ian Kinsler. Pretty good day today for Ian. 2 out of 4, a solo shot in the 4th inning, providing the Tigers' only run so far. And Kinsler looks at a strike, 0-1. Fastball from Collins over the plate. Collins this spring struck out 11 in a little over 8 innings of work. Royals bullpen has some arms that can pick up some strikeouts. Here's the 1-1. Driven toward left center field. That ball is going to get down. And we have another walk-off win for the Tigers on back-to-back games.
Nice
is the hero today, and the Tigers celebrate on the field. Has got to be thinking, this is easy.
Now here's our big boy play of the game. Kinsler got himself in a pretty nice count. 2 balls, 1 strike. Gets a changeup there from Collins that doesn't get down and away from him. And he knew it was a game winner as soon as the ball was made contact with. Real nice day today for Ian Kinsler.
A 3-hit game for Ian Kinsler in the bench. Consecutive games celebrating a walk-off win. It was Gonzalez on opening day. It is Ian Kinsler today, and the Tigers start the season 2-0. And right now we send it down to Shannon Hogan standing by with Ian Kinsler.
Well, Ian, it has to be a good feeling for you, a good day for the Tigers. Back-to-back walk-off wins. Now that's a way to start the season.
We'll take wins any way we can get them, and right now we got 2 under our belt, so you know, today was a great game. It's tough luck we couldn't get Max that win. He threw the ball great, but we were able to pull it off in the end.
You mentioned Max Scherzer. What kind of confidence does it give you? I know you were with Yu Darvish last year with the Rangers, but to have a guy like Max out there, also a strikeout guy, what kind of confidence does that give you when you guys are playing with him on the mound?
Well, when he gets it going like he did today with his slider and his off-speed pitches, he's tough to face. You know, first inning he struggled a little bit, but he was able to settle down pretty quickly and threw an unbelievable game, and you know, we were able to get the win.
Sometimes when you have a walk-off, it overshadows your first hit as her first hit as a Tiger, which was a home run. That's not a bad way to go with that either.
No, I mean, it would have been nice to win that in 9, but it took us 10 today, and we were able to get it.
All right, well, Phil Koch wants you to have this ball. There you go. Enjoy this victory. Mario and Rod, I'll send it back up to you.
All right, Shannon, thanks. And congratulations to Ian Kinsler and the Tigers, who make it 2 straight wins in walk-off fashion over the Royals. Kinsler, the hero today for Detroit. We'll be back.